Erica Lorraine Spencer here. This is the P.O.C. pattern of conduct, the ongoing real-time documentation of what is the criminal pattern of conduct of federal stalking in violation of 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsection 1 and subsection 2. This is the pattern of conduct underway by a public entity, that is the state of California, that is engaging in federal stalking in concert with the people of the state of California. So this is group conduct. And this is the practicing of what are the criminal elements of monitoring amongst what is the demon possessed. And so this is what is documentation of terrorism as it is underway by a public entity in concert with the people of the state who are in the shoes of the government as this criminal system is in ceaseless operation. And as the state engages in this demented group conduct, this is revealing how the public entity, that is the state of California, that is in the United States of America, how terrorism of an American citizen plays out, what that looks like, how that is facilitated amongst a people, amongst a government, how it is public corruption in plain sight, and not only that, how you formulate policy and how you prosecute that which is demonic conduct, it's demonic activity, but that which is in no way impervious to prosecution in federal court, and being subject to ratification into federal policy. This is the P.O.C. (7YKL347 5FPB056). It is, by the way, it's Saturday, January 15, 2022. The pattern of conduct underway today, documenting what is currently underway at 6:05 p.m. molestation while the minions that are the people of the state are engaging in interstate stalking and traffic to ZEZ923. And that's why the entirety of my body is being molested with impossible light activity, 77015T1, including my face and my feet that are I'm sitting on the passenger side in the front. It's ridiculous light activity. And cockroaches surround 5UJR322. 8VRK356. 05133A. Can't see the last character. The state is engaging in, if you pay attention to the light activity, I've shown you, for example, when I'm on Omnitrans, and 05133A3, and that's operation of a communication device and directed light. And these are minions whose name I know. License.
In the car.
Let's see. License 5VEV401. 7MZE403. That's third-party group stalker and a demon-possessed one, Eric Corey Spencer. He's monitoring with Tracy Banks. 7LVL294, 6VJA385, 6VEF133, 4YFB383, 6XPG094, 8VQM768. And it is currently 6:07 p.m. All right, so I want to be clear with regard to the malice of psychopaths, the demon-possessed, and these in particular that you're listening to. While molestation is underway, and as I began documenting all my podcasts, this is when group stalker Eric Corey Spencer, again, this is a demon whose name I know, a third party acting on behalf of the state, monitoring for years, engaging in sexual violence, okay? You're not dealing based on what are normal family members, you're dealing with the demonic, 6VEF133. He calls on the phone with simultaneity to my operation to begin documenting on my podcast. Understand what that is. All right, they are monitoring together. A minion calling her, well, she's a minion as well, but this is the breakdown of what it is. A minion calling her, the other minion, Tracy Banks, in order to be what is the form for accepting a phone call while they're monitoring together. I want to be clear, I remain subject to ongoing surveillance. So go ahead, I was in here after you. This is 6:08 p.m. and that's the malice of Eric Corey Spencer and Tracy Banks, going by Tracy Jenkins. These are very dangerous psychopaths who were monitoring me for years, and upon becoming aware of it, engaging in criminal summoning, engaging in what is criminal defamation. Those are the two minions you hear monitoring me while they're engaging in what's supposed to be a friendly conversation. All right, so with regard to what's supposed to be, again, a loving conversation between son and daughter, those are actually demon-possessed monitoring what is Erica Spencer. That's what that is about. And directed light is ongoing, 53693E3, molesting at 7-Eleven, located at 1055 North Mountain Avenue in Ontario, California, and also monitoring with Tracy Banks while I'm being molested with directed light, and all of these minions are in relevant position. It's currently 6:09 p.m., and this is just documenting what is the ridiculously impossible light that's inside of the car. It's ridiculous. So what I'm referencing is the directed light that I've shown you on video. For example, when on Omnitrans, and the bus is driving toward what are stationary light sources, street lamps, okay? 18591X2, 7MME412, 56293C3. And when you are approaching what is a street lamp, I want to be clear, you're going to juxtapose that with what you're seeing in the video, which is light that is in motion on the bus, in the center of the bus, moving toward the front of the bus, which is absolutely impossible and ridiculously impossible. So this is the light activity inside of the vehicle. 37654D3. While the vehicle is approaching what are street lamps, they are not street lamps where you are stationary and the light is coming toward you. It is the exact opposite. You are driving toward what are street lamps, who are also not creating what is light touching my feet underneath the glove compartment. The state is touching my face mask, like my nose, all over my face when I'm wearing a hat. And I'm sitting in the inside of the car. Street lamps, when you're in the car, are not reaching horizontally underneath. This is light activity that you are probably not even paying attention to. It's the ways in which you are understanding how an entity is monitoring, how the government's engaging in surveillance, and doing so with commercial actors who are stalking, like Amazon Prime, in the lane next to us in traffic on Mountain Avenue right now at 6:11 p.m. while you're being molested with light, which you are not even paying attention to. Okay, Amazon Prime license 37654D3. It's impossible light activity. It's unnatural. It's not occurring when you are driving what are underneath street lamps that are not creating moving light inside of a vehicle, that are going toward the front of the vehicle. When you are driving what are toward these street lamps, the light would be, first of all, moving in the opposite direction, but it's not even possible. When you are driving underneath light, the roof of the car is going to be a structure through which that light is not penetrating, and it's not reaching and touching down on your feet. It's absolutely ridiculous. The state is reaching underneath the brim of my hat, touching all over my face and my nose and on my face mask with this light. 8 SIS 976. And this is just, I've shown you this in video. I'm just speaking to what's the impossible light while I'm sitting in the car. That's called stalking with light. Omnitrans engaging in stalking with light, just like this demon is, with license plate 8JNM227. I'm sorry, 8TVM277. All right, creating light activity while they're driving in slow motion, turning the corner, maintaining light. All right, it is currently 6:12 p.m. And that is the engagement in what is light activity creation. Why would you turn the radio on when you're sitting on the phone? All right, so that is a demon whose name I know. That's Eric Corey Spencer. And so while he's engaging in what is monitoring, this is operation of a communication device and directed light. And Eric Corey Spencer has been engaged in monitoring for years. All right. So like I said, I reference him as he is, as his condition is. You're talking about what are demons and what is a demonic environment, and doing so at a distance while on a communication device with Tracy Banks. All right. Like I said, you have what is the audible activity of a minion going by Eric Corey Spencer, talking about turn on the radio because you're annoyed with my documentation, which I could care less. All right, you're talking about what is that doesn't even make sense. So that's why I responded to that demon. All right, who's hostile to documentation. Turn on the radio. Why would she turn on the radio when she's on the phone with him? All they're doing is monitoring. That's all they're doing. It's operation of a communication device and directed light with this minion whose name I don't need to know. 8WVP080 7FJU170. This is P.O.C. It's 6:13 p.m. And that is documentation of what is Eric Corey Spencer engaging in that criminal system on behalf of the government with a third party on a communication device. You don't even have to be in relevant position. In operation of a communication device is creation of audible activity. And let me be clear, this minion calls at the moment that he does, as I begin documenting on my podcast, by the way. Just want to be clear. It is 6:14 p.m. This is P.O.C. 7PWV122. The state aiming directed light on the wall, which is the wall belonging to, it's the white wall that belongs to the resident at 403 West G Street. That's a third-party facilitating venue. The vehicle is driving. So let me break down what is the directed light conduct. I've actually already shown you this as well, not only in images but in video, as to the directed light conduct. While the people of the state, these are demons who are stalking, engaging in surveillance. This is government, the state engaging in state surveillance through the people. All right, and this is demonic activity. This is a demon that is driving a vehicle, a demon-possessed person driving a vehicle, knowing exactly where I'm at, crossing path, engaging in driving what is north on Fern Avenue, and before the vehicle is, first of all, the appearance and shape of vehicles are not going to appear on the wall, the white fence of 403 West G Street under any circumstances. All right, this is the vehicle that's driving on the road, in the street. Okay. Second of all, you have what is the appearance of the shape of vehicles, which is speaking to what is the trajectory of directed light horizontally onto surfaces, and that directed light is hitting the fence while this demon is crossing path driving on the street of Fern Avenue. You saw the same thing when I showed you the directed light that was appearing on 325 West G Street. The same conduct with license 6LUM416 has been loitering at the street end and waits to cross path as I move. Okay, that's a demon stalking, and the state creating what is a directed light by aiming it horizontally, and this is how you see the shape of vehicles on the through the shadow of the shapes of vehicles on the wall of 403 West G Street, which is impossible light activity. That's not coming from headlights. In the same way, headlights that are driving east and west on G Street are not creating flashing light on 325 West G Street. They're not aiming flashing light onto the second floor of that venue. They are not creating shadows of the trees, and then those shadows that are appearing moving in the southward direction across 325 West G Street. When headlights that are not even aimed onto that building, they are in the street, not facing the house, okay? And they are also driving what is east and west, not creating any south or north movement of light and creation of shadows. That's directed light, that's demonic. This is the attention that you pay to the environment. The state is molesting in the vehicle, like I was stating earlier, with directed light. And paying attention to the environment, you're seeing how it is made plain, it's bare before your eyes when you're witnessing what is absolutely disconnected. Driving on the streets under what is street lights, if they are even present. The state does the same thing when there aren't even any street lamps on the street. Cycling directed light at all times. This is a perpetual sex offender, all right? Always touching while stalking and surveilling with everyone around. That's the ongoing demons that are present, stalking with light, okay? And so let me document third-party facilitating venue. While the entity is listening to me document that conduct and teaching you about witnessing demonic activity as it surrounds you in the demonic environment that surrounds you, the entity engaging in repeating that impossible light activity on what is 325 West G Street. That's a minion that lives there. That's a third party monitoring me. And that is also a venue whereby you are also identifying a third party. And that is also the ongoing terrorism by psychopaths who are stalking obsessively. All right. So I want to be clear. Anyway, back to what I was stating. I just want to document that act of terrorism. 630 North Fern. They are creating that audible activity that you hear. They're monitoring. There's no party that's any form. That party is audible activity. They're monitoring while directed light is being aimed across the street on the white fence while minions are crossing path. And directed light is spreading across and inside of the vehicle, as I've also documented. Like I was stating earlier, being in the vehicle while Amazon Prime is stalking in the path. I read the Amazon Prime license plate. You have what is Omnitrans engaging in P.O.C, stalking using not an Omnitrans bus, using one of the Omni Access vehicles. And that is just using whatever they have, Omnitrans has at its disposal, using a logo. That's exactly what they are doing. Using a logo to engage in state surveillance. That's supposed to be the forum for what is light activity and relevant positioning. Stalking in the path, which is demonic activity, done so by a company that's engaging in state surveillance on behalf of the entity. All right, and that's at 5th Street and Mountain Avenue as we are passing that intersection, the same intersection where I showed you the fake sun and the entity was engaging in stalking as I then walked through Upland on Mountain Avenue, and I'm referencing specifically December 8, 2021. So anyway, while the entity is molesting in the vehicle, and it's like ridiculously impossible, so that's why I just start reciting license plates. You're talking about what are demons that are engaging in just congregation. They're not shopping. When you're looking at me document these minions, and this is a minion that wants to be a distraction, let me document them. 6CUV099. They're stalking, but they are also wanting to be a distraction. When I'm inside of Aldi, and this is monitoring at what is Mountain Plaza. This is on Mountain Avenue in Upland, California. There's an Aldi grocery store. This is where I documented the minions of Dunkin' Donuts, the minions of the of that venue, and their engagement in that P.O.C. as I showed you the fake sun and engaging in surveillance sitting where I've documented this venue before. This is where I was at the T-Mobile P.O.C. underway inside of what is the Aldi grocery store. And one thing you're noticing, for example, January 12th, 2022, I'm inside of the Fontana Lewis Library. I'm capturing what is federal stalking by an entity as I'm speaking to what is the engagement in sexual violence, stalking with audible activity while you're indisposed inside of the bathroom. That's the same exact entity that's engaging in demonic activity while your genitalia is exposed, while you're engaged in a personal activity, engaging in what is that obsessive stalking conduct and doing it in a bathroom, okay? Engaging in what is the P.O.C. that is even exceeding what is interstate stalking. I'm not even in use of a phone, which the entity that is surveilling you knows this. All right, so as I step out and I capture images of those who are monitoring while the entity is surrounding me with audible activity inside of the bathroom, you're looking at what's a minion, looking at a book. And what do you see holding it upright? He's focused, he's holding the phone while he's looking like he's reading a book. Life of Play, Armor Plumbing, 8EGT 973. While they're in the grocery store, looking like they're focused on looking for eggs, they're holding their phone right in their hands. All right, while they are engaging in what is driving heavy duty vehicles, like they're focused on construction, they're holding their phones. All right, while that ongoing environment is present. While they are driving vehicles, which is supposedly in violation of California law, but they're in violation of California law with law enforcement themselves, monitoring using communication devices. All right. Like I said, you're talking about what is revealing state surveillance. And the more that I have honed in and shown you every aspect and every tactic used, the more obsessive this demon possessed entity has shown itself to be. You're talking about what was once more concealed and more, well, it was only concealed because I hadn't noticed it yet, because it hadn't been brought to my attention yet. Upon it being brought to my attention, there is no hiding it. It's a matter of revealing to the masses, all of those who are ignorant about what the government is doing and about our times. This is demonic activity made real life before you. It's relevant to your life wherever you are. This is not just in California, and this is not just criminal conduct by government. It's unprecedented, but understand, like I said, this is demonic activity. This is the reality with regard to the times that we are in, and that doesn't matter what country you're in. Okay, so I am dealing with demons who I know by name, who would claim to be related to me by blood. They are foreign to me. They are psychopaths engaging in this demonic targeting entity. I'm not dealing with one who deals with me affectionately as his sister. No. What you heard was a hostile demon engaging in what is making a suggestion so that the other demon he's monitoring with Tracy Banks can create audible activity. License 8EGT 973 is just patrolling in circles. So the other demon that he's monitoring with Tracy Banks can not only create audible activity, as you've heard her do. Let me be clear. Corey Spencer's suggestion, turn on the radio. All right. While they're on the phone, why would she turn on the radio while she's talking on the phone to him? But by the way, pay attention. They were not talking on the phone. He was just sitting on the phone. It's operation of a communication device while both of those minions are just listening to me document. All right. While also hostile. These are demons that I'm dealing with, and I could care less. They're inferior. They're demon possessed psychopaths. They have no form as being any brother, no form as being any mother. Who Tracy Banks is, let me be clear. That is the entity acting through what is none other than a third party. And it's the same for her demon possessed son, both of whom were on my podcast documented engaging in federal stalking together. All right. Him calling for that ongoing purpose. And as you've heard Tracy Banks doing blasting music, that's exactly what she's doing. When she's doing that, she's monitoring. She's creating audible activity in directed light. License 31393F3. These are demons that are just pacing in the street while they're listening to me document. So like I said, it is, but I want to illustrate that because this is, that's why I paused and asked that question. Actually, that's not a pause. It's relevant to my documentation. But that's why I stopped from what I was immediately speaking about to ask him, why would she turn on the radio if she's talking on the phone? All right. And so the, implication there is to try to drown me out because you don't want to hear, but that's actually not even it. Also, playing music is audible activity while directed light is present. It's the P.O.C. It is also the revealing of what is hostility by a demon who was being documented while I'm naming some other demon's license plate. All right. And both of those minions are monitoring me together. Like I said, Eric Corey Spencer engaged in criminal summoning, engaged in kidnapping, engaged in what is that criminal system with the Ontario Police Department, with Tommy Allen Banks, Pete Banks. That is the minion crossing state lines, by the way, with the intent to place another under surveillance. That's what he was doing on August 8, 2000. 19. That's exactly what I documented, engaging in what is federal stalking with the Ontario Police Department and Tracy Banks. Eric Corey Spencer was there as well, and has been engaged in that ongoing show of hostility while I'm documenting a P.O.C. And it started with those minions whose name I know, all right? Showing upon awareness, upon documentation, their true identities. All right. And let me be clear. That is a black-faced, demon-possessed stalker. Has nothing to do with Black Lives Matter. He is on the phone monitoring with Tracy Banks. Both of them are Negroes. OK, they're African-Americans, black-faced demons monitoring with law enforcement. It has nothing to do with Black Lives Matters. Nothing. It's a false narrative by the demon-possessed who are placing you under surveillance, period. Okay? Eric Corey Spencer is black as night, and he's monitoring and has been engaged in criminal defamation, criminal summoning with the Ontario Police Department. Okay? Now, that black life was monitoring with law enforcement. Both of them demon-possessed. All right, it's currently 6:33 p.m. So what I want to speak to is the entity engaging in P.O.C. at the Ovid Family Community Library, where I remain today. The state engaging in, and let me remind you, it doesn't matter what the state is doing with regard to obstruction of justice, because that's what it is when you have revealed what the state is doing, stalking with an environment. So any day of, and this is based on the nature of the stalking activity, you're stalking with a fake sun, so you can cover it up all you want. The state is still stalking with directed light, which is exactly what I was just documenting inside of a vehicle. The venues are filled with directed light, which is what I've already shown you, for example, inside of the Ovid Family Community Library, including the bathroom. And the state is engaging in also ongoing stalking with light by the demons who are engaging in maintenance of presence on behalf of that government. And as the demon-possessed entity, this is demonic activity. So the pattern of conduct doesn't stop. Stalking with light does not stop. And in the same way, documentation and revealing of what is stalking with light is ongoing, because the nature of the stalking activity, stalking with a fake sun, and that's exactly what it is not stopped, or that documentation does not stop because of what the state is using to stalk, and that is a fake sun. So you can skip a day. Still relevant to what is that ongoing established documentation for a prolonged period, that which is going to occur when you placed your fake sun over the bus stop at Euclid and D Street on January 14, 2021. That is relevant to what you're doing with your fake sun in 2022. And if you want to cover up your fake sun on January 15, 2022, it is still probative what you were doing with your fake sun on January 14, 2021, as it is still the same time of year and equally impossible as you are showing what is stalking with light. And there is no getting out of that pattern of conduct. All right. So like I said, with regard to what I documented today, I did remain at the Ovid Family Community Library, and then going to what is the Mountain Village Plaza, which is across the street from what is Mountain Square, monitoring as well. The demons congregated around in all this is my point, they're not shopping. You're surrounded by what are the living dead. All right. And they are focused on you. As soon as I'm looking at something like I'm going to buy a box of saltine crackers or something, and you got demons that are just standing behind waiting to make a move based on what I'm doing, concentrating on their phones while they are stalking in the path. They're a bunch of demons. All right. Literally, they're zombies. All right. And I don't mean like a caricature form. These are hollow beings. These are demons. And their focus is, well, me. I'm speaking to an audience with regard who's witnessing this documentation, but with regard to being targeted by the state, being targeted by the demon possessed, and being surrounded by demonic activity, their focus is you, and it's entirely sick. It is entirely sick. It is entirely abnormal. These demons whose license plates I'm reciting, they're sitting around going through like mania is rising, because I'm starting to document, and I did not document on my podcast earlier today, which I was focused on my website publishing the additional acts of kidnapping by this entity, and specifically May 4th, 2019. And guess who was engaged in that? The same minion who was monitoring with her demon-possessed son, Eric Corey Spencer, and that demon possession doesn't run in the blood, okay? So we are on two different sides of the fence. And you have what is that minion engaging in criminal summoning, engaging in what is false criminal assertion of false allegations, while federal group stalking and monitoring is underway, which I have thoroughly revealed, not only at Woodside Senior Apartments, but outside of Woodside Senior Apartments, and that's what's ongoing right now. Okay, directed light against 325 West G Street, 630 North Fern Avenue, 621 North Fern is monitoring as well, 403 West G Street is monitoring, 7-Eleven at 636 North Vine is monitoring, while the state is aiming directed light, impossible light. It's not a distraction, it's going toward the prosecution of an entity. That's why that impossible light activity is present. In the same way, the Amazon Prime, again, going out of its way, showing its ongoing obsession. Those are nothing but demons engaging in what is monitoring American citizens. Understand that. not the operation of a business. And that's why they are stalking on what is Mountain Avenue while I'm being molested with directed light in the lane right next to me in traffic as I recited that license plate. All right. So like I said, that includes Woodside Senior Apartments. That includes Countryside Villas. Country Villas. The apartments that are on Vine Avenue, they are across the street from 713 North Vine, from 714 North Vine, 717 North Vine. All of these are third-party facilitating venues, monitoring with the state, who is aiming directed light increasingly above the venue, on the venue, spanning it across to reach onto 630 North Fern. All right. This is P.O.C. And as I document that, that's documentation of what is the entity that's monitoring. All right. And these minions have no shelter inside of their addresses where they reside. They're engaging in surveillance. They are present on behalf of the government, exercising no First Amendment rights. And that is documentation of what is federal stalking and terrorism. It's facilitating their criminal conduct with that government that's aiming that impossible light. And this same light activity is what was molesting my person in ridiculous manners while I'm sitting in the car. License plate 8RKV 692. And this is also why you have what is the entity acting via Eric Corey Spencer, who is understand what's underway. That's activity creation. That is operation of a communication device in directed light. Okay, that's direct engagement in what is federal stalking, by the way. Like I said, but nonetheless, that's what they're engaging in, the elements together and helping one another, engaging in facilitation together. You're also witnessing what are hostile demons to my documenting the pattern of conduct. All right. And so you have what is a psychopath. And by documentation, that's a matter of record, what Tracy Banks's condition is, what her problem is, and what her bigger problem will be, which is prosecution, and all the ways in which you are subject to a prosecution, showing the threat that you pose on behalf of a government and your criminal acts of obstruction of justice while doing so. All right. And so this is also relevant to what is harassment by a demon-possessed psychopath who's a stalker. All right, creeping around on dark streets, creeping around, following and obsessively engaged in whatever it is that I'm doing, what I'm saying as I'm doing it, sexually violating me, but then also at the same time putting up what's supposed to be some defense mechanism that you find it preposterous, like you can't even spell preposterous, that I'm documenting your criminal conduct. 8RKV 692 is just patrolling. They're just driving in circles. And so you will have nothing other than what it's an inferiority. All right. There's an inferiority to that. And I could care less. You're talking about what is the Pippi Longstocking, the demon that's stalking me, engaging in listening, surveilling me in the bathroom. But you hear that audible activity like she's some tough one. OK, standing up like she's going to do something. These are demons that that I'm documenting. All right. And all of the masks of demons are literally irrelevant. Okay, it's relevant for the ways in which I'm going to prosecute them, and I'm going to execute the operation of what is specific law for such malicious actors. All right, that's all it's relevant to. I could not care less. You are literally talking about underneath my feet. You are stalking me. By definition, you are, excuse my French, you are the ass. You are not the head. You're following me. You're literally following me. You're stalking. All right, so like I said, that is the entity engaging in the P.O.C. acting via those third parties whose name I know. And this stalker stopping in front of this venue over here, now crossing path, stopping in front of a third party's house at the corner. I'll get that address, 8R53266, molesting. All right, the same at the opposite end of Fern. They're just lined up on the street, stalking with light. They're demons. And this is why you don't care about the feigned tough talk. They're stalking me. 7PDB280, an inferior demon. And let me give you these addresses. Let me remind you of these addresses where they're stopping in the middle of the street. 8NNE 230. This is license plate 6JIH074. This is 614 North Fern Avenue and 5LDH 456 and 611 North Fern Avenue, 6XKT119. At 610 North Fern Avenue, 5HQE019. That's the license plate. And these demons are just lined up on this portion of Fern, stalking with light. The ominous stalking with light. Demons just sitting in the street, aiming their headlights toward me. And as I turn, such that those demons suspect that I'm going to see them, then they start driving by. That's called crossing path. That's called stalking with light. That's called surveillance. loitering in relevant position while these inferior demons, okay, who are hostile to being documented, hostile to being revealed as to what is their condition, hostile to being known to be in the defeated army of Satan itself, this is demonic activity, are sitting around stalking and listening to every syllable that I utter. 21209C2, 911 ZG. And that's the condition of Eric Corey Spencer suggesting to Tracy Banks, both of whom are demons monitoring me, all right, by virtue of engaging in the P.O.C. while I'm documenting on podcast, talking about turn the radio on while she's on the phone with this minion. Why would she do that? Oh, because you're trying to suggest you want to. I could care less. And this is what I'm saying. It is irrespective with regard to identity. That's what Tracy Banks has demonstrated. It's irrespective. You're talking about what is a state system. So this is superseding. It's not personal. You're talking about what is the government. You're talking about what is uniform policy for all the ways in which the government is surveilling you. It's doing it through the people. It doesn't matter what that specific identity of that person who's engaging in the elements with regard to the POC. 7RXZ919. And in addition to that, I've even gone further and shown you how these demons, whose name I know, all right, are just that. They're demons, hostile to being documented, just like any other demon whose name I don't need to know, acting on behalf of the state. 8UDK151. 8LQU683, sitting over here stalking in front of Ontario Clinica Medica Familiar at 403. I think this is F Street. 5NTV314. All right, this demon walking past with 3 shadows. All right, and they walk around like they're normal, and they're not. Sitting around stalking on the street, listening to me, having elongated quadruple and triple shadows, using these little minionite children who are running around in directed light to create activity. That's what demons do. 62259P2. License plate 7XWE505. And this is 607 North Fern. 7HWG140. 7WCS716. This is activity creation. Monitoring with that is, let's see, 6C. Oh, I can't really see that one. Oh, but stalking with light is 611 North Fern. All right, it's not a motion detector because those little activity creators were running back and forth. As that minion crosses path with the lights off so I can't see their license plate, 611 North Fern turns on their property lights, which is molestation, okay? 7JHZ975. And that's simultaneity of conduct. That's not a coincidence, that's demonic. All right, monitoring, sitting around in the alleyway, using their little minions as activity creation. 6W53229, 22059R1. Bouncing a basketball in directed light. Alrighty, license plate 7VYB338, and this is the side alleyway. 6MHC704. All right, it's 6:45 p.m. Alrighty, it is 5YVY873. All right, so like I said, that's just a sample. All of these minions are monitoring, and that's why the state is aiming directed light onto 325 West G Street, spreading it toward horizontally to 630 North Fern as I describe it. License 7VBA844, stalking in the path. And doing so while the state flashes impossible lights. So they're driving on G Street, and then the state aims light onto the building of 325 West G Street. All right, this minion, 6UAF615. This one back here, 8NAW854. And this minion that is stalking in the path while the state aims at impossible light while that group stalker turns the corner. I'll read their license plate right now. Bouncing the basketball in directed light, stalking in the alleyway. It's called maintain relevant position. 6TCX765. It is currently 6:46 p.m. All right, 6:50 p.m. I want to document the license plate of the third party who I stated they're in the alleyway, in directed light. When you hear the basketball bouncing, they're all in directed light, loitering in relevant position. And I do document the license plate of that third party who was stalking on the opposite side of the vehicle while the third party is crossing path and the state is aiming directed light. This is simultaneity of conduct, and this third party is approaching a vehicle whose license plate I recited. These minions are approaching while I'm uploading my podcast. This is monitoring, and their form for monitoring is engaging in what is harassment, and asking what is, oh, are you, somebody told me that you're walking up to the, or that you noted a license plate, or not noted, that, let me use the exact words that you said, that you were looking at the license plate, which is, again, paying very close attention to what I'm doing, but also it is the engagement in what is the pattern of conduct while they are exhibiting what is harassment as I'm documenting their criminal conduct. So I want to document that, loitering in relevant position, and they're doing so while the state is engaging in an ongoing presence of directed light. And I want to speak to that. It's 6:52 p.m. And that is the license plate, the last one that I recited, and that is parked on the end of what is Fern Avenue and G Street, and they're still loitering in relevant position. They're monitoring with the state as the state is cycling directed light on 403 West G Street, that white fence. It's 6:53 p.m. Alrighty, it is currently 6:59 p.m. That is 6TCX 765 engaging in that act of harassment while they're monitoring, and then engaging in monitoring by approaching the vehicle that I'm in while directed light is spanning across the property. This is terrorism while you're exhibiting hostility being documented with the state. And then engaging in operation of a communication device, which is the ongoing P.O.C. This is indeed 325 West G Street, where the state is aiming directed light on the side of that property. It's currently 7 p.m. So I want to document more third parties that are, this is harassment by an entity, just because you're talking about what is fear of being prosecuted and engaging in that ongoing pattern of conduct. When you are actually in violation of no law whatsoever, and moreover, while you are documenting the government that's engaged in surveillance. That is the ongoing P.O.C. It's currently 7 p.m. on the dot, and that is the minions that I documented. That's just a sample that's on Fern. They were surrounding the perimeter, all in relevant position. And so I'm reading license plates where they're loitering in relevant position. Understand it's not just them that are loitering, they're monitoring together. They're creating lights surrounding my location with that facilitating activity. Those are demons that are crossing paths. And by the way, while they're driving what is west on G Street, there's no light that's spanning across hitting 303 West G Street. That's impossible light activity. All right, they're not aiming light onto the houses. They're driving in the street. It's absolutely impossible light. All right, and you're talking about that ongoing environment while you want to then engage in what is harassment and monitor me asking questions asking questions that you already know. You know you're being documented, and I'm going to document you for also engaging in what is harassment and threatening conduct. 521YY. That's a handicap license plate. $8PNR352. While you're also, in addition to that, I just want to be clear, even in their alternate universe, where you're talking about what is none other than an entity that is monitoring the documentation of its criminal activity. Did you see me touch your car? Am I trying to break into it? Because I walked by and you heard me say a license plate, you heard me say characters, you heard me say something. You're talking about what is nothing other than the P.O.C, and you know exactly what I'm saying. And it's not illegal. Documentation is not illegal. And I can recite a license plate all day long, whatever I want, period. I could be using it as you don't even know. My point is that you're talking about what is the reality. Criminal conduct by government, period. Second of all, you are talking about obstruction of justice. Psychopaths. You're just mad because I'm going to prosecute you. Period. 4EDW 869. And it's not just annoying, it's a bigger picture. You're talking about understanding what is policy. 8CKH768. You're talking about what is understanding necessary policy while a government is surveilling you, engaging in a system that it intended to maintain secrecy for, all right, doing it through people who are supposed to be never suspected, never identified. And it is literally ubiquitous in its ongoing systematic occurrence. and facilitated by the very people all around you. It's the people of the state, whatever state that you're in. This is the people of the state of California, and these are not ordinary people. This is demons. This is demonic activity that I'm encountering, that I'm confronting. All right, and so you're talking about what are tactics to engage in, what is intimidation. That's how you would address that under law. Those are acts of intimidation. Asking a question nicely is no less intimidating. You're talking about what is the creation of policy, the ordinary target individual. You represent the government. You are monitoring my documentation. You're asking a question, encountering while directed light is surrounding, while the state is stalking by planes and helicopters, engaging in, as I've documented before, the entity engaging in what is criminal summoning while law enforcement is already monitoring you in relevant position. This is criminal conduct by the entity acting together while they're monitoring what you're documenting, their criminal activity. I mean, it's literally circular with regard to the logic that is absent on the part of the state. But you're not talking about logic, you're talking about criminals. You're talking about engaging in what is any way to obviate what is undeniable, what you are not going to escape, which is identification, which is documenting of that system, and what is prosecution for what is an unprecedented crime. And so that, again, that third party, the first one that I cited at the beginning of this little snippet, is the third party engaging in that act of intimidation, that act of harassment while they're monitoring 6ZXP621. And they do so while I'm uploading my podcast. All right, so meaning I've logged onto the internet. 8YKF249. And then loitering in relevant position and indirect to light while the ongoing P.O.C. is underway and operation of a communication device 7HEW782. 8SLX053. It's currently 7:05 p.m. 5UGL451 8AOJ670. I am at what is the St. George Catholic non-church. It's a venue. I've documented this venue and particularly witnessed demonic activity over what is a venue and not a genuine church. And that was a state flying over in circles in helicopter as I stood in front of this venue. And under the fake sun as well, and directed light, and you saw minions patrolling in traffic, and this is what I was pointing out. This is August 14th, 2019. That's where I'm at right now, 5 PMW 476. While my shadow is both to my right, and my shadow is moving across the light display. I have more than one shadow. That's called directed light, 7SFS971. And that is called following with an entire environment. And you have a minion crossing path, 6RDD964, this minion's license plate. 5ZHA655, 7JHY194, 8PQL466, 8LZP574, 4VLU682, 8KIU918, it's currently 7:06 p.m. That's audible activity in directed light, a minion on a motorcycle. And again, that specifically is at on Palm. And now I'm at that was Palm and C Street. Now I'm at Palm at D Street. And it's 7:07 p.m. License plate 7L71566. Pacing on this is again D Street. So you got one minion driving by and another minion driving by in the opposite direction. That's called pacing. Because you're looking at the aggregate. It's group conduct. It's not individualized. It's group conduct. And so you're talking about a minion crossing path, doing so at the same time. This is patrolling. That's called pacing. It's the entity pacing in relevant position in the specific environment, in directed light. All right, license plate 4WXW216, excuse me. License plate 8FFM352, 8RQZ297. All right, those third parties engaging in what is harassment by an entity, so I want to get more of the entity engaging in that P.O.C. 7TIM380, 7PWS539, 8MNC265, 6HIY, I can't really see the rest of them. No back plate on that. 6WPJ738. 8V44917. 8MCW182. Nine 33746Z1. Let's see. This one. License plate. AL58G20. That's paper. 8NFL 926. Seven KVX 672. 8T56456. 8BHF287. Let's see. 6WAC 419. 8VSK053. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 shadows. Document these minions at this is an apartment building over here, which I've documented this before. Walking up and down the street, the state would keep its fake sun over me. 7YZK311. 7ZTS159. 8MYA350. There's Ontario Police 1591701, vehicle 1025. License 8PHA560. Understand Ontario Police is monitoring with these minions who I'm documenting. 7VPL454, 6DJR960. 6FJD204, 19554J3. Let's see, 6TAC334. 8R99646. 8GNB472, I believe. 8SJV793. I'll get this white van creeping in the street right now. 8JUN811. License 5JOR477, 8GQW620. And this is FedEx, of course. That's the creeper in the white van. License, this is the paper plate. License, go ahead, 7HUL160. It's stalking and honking like I'm in the way they're stalking. That's what's funny about demons. License 7RCD295, and FedEx is license 96500D3. Just stopping behind what is this vehicle with license plate AU19U72, aiming light, stalking in the path with aiming light, just sitting with their headlights aimed toward me while those demons are patrolling and then driving off. They're just stalking in the path. 8MYP808, 6ZKF078, 7MNJ582, cross the path again. License 4YTC539. And it is 7:13 p.m. That is a commercial actor. That's FedEx engaging in surveillance. 7GSV620, and doing so with law enforcement. All right, FedEx stops in front of what is 501, I believe this is Vine Avenue. All right, stops along the property pauses, in other words, aims lights, and then after I read those license plates, drives off. This is stalking in the path and just doing so in a commercial vehicle. 6FPH 907, and doing so in what is directed light. 5AQG 965. That is the identity of what is present on behalf of the state in an abnormal environment, telling on what is ongoing surveillance, not delivering any mail or package. License plate. It's 96716A3, 86839F2. That's a demon stalking with audible activity. I'm touching my lighter in my pocket. They are indeed in their venues where they're living, right, in relevant position, and where ongoing directed light is present, using vehicles as a means of stalking with activity. 8VFW209. Seven VOU 855. 8 U.S.C. 941. 8 MYK 415. This is not only relevant to what is harassment. You're talking about what is the molestation that I'm subject to while sitting in a car. Okay, it's the same entity. So you're talking about trying to speed off in traffic, hoping I don't pull out my podcast. They're the same entity. They're the same sex offenders. That's why the same environment is present. 7EGZ 432. 7VDL 725. And it's currently 7:15 p.m. 8UJJ 105. This is Ontario Police, group stalking, crossing path and directed light, license 1576657. And that's vehicle number, what vehicle number is that? Let's see, 1006. All right, and it is 7LQH134. I can't really see that one. I think I already read that one already. License plate 8AUL634. And Ontario Police is driving in slow motion in the middle of the street while they're crossing path. 8FWZ796. They are stalking and engaging in what is monitoring with the people of the state, who are both crossing path and who are in what are their venues where it is that they are living. And they are all monitoring my documentation as I'm capturing it right now. 5UBV367. This is 5GCP823. And I'm at the intersection of F Street and Vine. All right, this is the demon waiting to cross path. 8FWY140. BU31T57, that's paper. 8YTC005. 5FJU394. CA52K96, that's paper. 6ROH523. It's currently 7:17 p.m. And that minion whose license plate I read that was waiting to cross path, coming from what is third-party facilitating venue Courtyard Villas. Or Courtyard Villas. Here comes Ontario Police Department again at 7:17 p.m. This is license plate 1576657, the same one, vehicle 1006. All right, focused on me, DQTPY. That's license plate. 8MMN612. And monitoring with OPD is 8FWY140. Understand that. They're using their hazards. 7KOE967. This is a molestation. Ma'am. Who are you? What?
Police department. Is that your Mercedes parked?
What can I help you for?
Is that your Mercedes?
I'm not at a Mercedes.
Is your Mercedes parked around the corner?
What are you talking about?
Is that your car, yes or no?
What are you talking about? Do you see me at a car?
Tan Mercedes around the corner.
Am I being held right now? Why are you molesting me with light?
I'm asking if that's your Mercedes.
I don't owe you an answer.
Okay, I'm just gonna tow it.
Tow it for being parked legally? That's P.O.C. 1576657. And the license plate, the Mercedes-Benz, and this is the Ontario police who already knows who I am. They're stalking, asking about a Mercedes. And I understand you're talking about what's supposedly not knowledge of who I am, but that's contrary to the reality, knowing exactly who I am and referencing a Mercedes when I'm walking outside. No Mercedes is in sight. And you're also talking about what is, okay, I'm just going to tow it. It's legally parked. 8GKW483. And that was the same license plate engaging in patrolling up and down the vehicle. Up and down the street. And that is a threat, talking about you're going to tow it when it's not in violation of any law. It's parked on the street. 8G59821. 6NIN840. And so let me be clear also, that is relevant to what is criminal summoning. The identification of a vehicle, and when I'm on, where am I? I'm on Fern. I'm on Vine Avenue and Vine and Vine and F Street over there. And you have what is asking me about a Mercedes that I'm nowhere near. So how do you even know I'm affiliated with some Mercedes? And then why are you threatening to tow it when it's legally parked? Why are you approaching me about it when there's been no violation of law? 33250H2, I'm pointing out what is the pattern of conduct. I want to be clear. You have what is stalking by the state, the Ontario police, who are monitoring with the people of the state. I just want to point that out to you. License 7SDT861. AL3ZP86, that's paper. And it's 7:20 p.m. That's the pattern of conduct. You're talking about stalking. You're not talking about any genuine grounds for what is summoning in the first place. But second of all, it doesn't exist when you're documenting the government, okay? And third of all, you don't even have any, if you're paying attention to the facts, 8VYA989, this is clearly someone who already knows who I am, all right? But you're talking about what is forcing what is some law enforcement officer who was stalking you to explain 5TWG317 why they are targeting me, having no legal basis, and then making what is audible activity and speaking to what is a threat because I'm documenting. That's what that is. All right, and the license plate that I reference, understand, that's criminal summoning. That'll be attributed to the entity. And reading any license plate is no violation of any law whatsoever. I'm going to prosecute. That's federal prison, 8LWP574. Go on ahead. I'm not in your way. License plate, 8RFY776. And let's also break it down even further, actually. You want to engage in what is criminal summoning while you're monitoring and surveilling with the government. But you are talking about also what is, where does towing come into play when you're talking about because you're mad because you think someone said your license plate number? All right. What does that have to do with the vehicle that I'm sitting inside of as you are approaching me and monitoring me? Absolutely nothing. Nothing. License plate, 8TSE340. And like I said, I read that license plate number. They're engaged in what is criminal summoning, because that's what logically follows. You're talking about what is having no grounds under any circumstances, but in their alternate universe, they engage in criminal summoning, which is the P.O.C. while they're hostile being documented, and they're going to end up in federal prison. Right? That's how you're going to prosecute that. That's a pattern of conduct. 7MBF495. Boy, you're talking about revealing all of your cards. License 6RJF304. You're talking about telling somebody who is not clearly affiliated with some vehicle that you're citing. You're telling some stranger, 8WVJ419, that's who I am to him, supposedly, and that's who I am to some vehicle that you're stating that I'm affiliated. You're asking me, which I don't owe you an answer, and there's no provision of any law where you are approaching me. But not only that, you're telling me about what you're going to do to some other car that you're asking me about. You don't even have any grounds to know if I'm affiliated with it, and it's not in violation of any parking policy. AJNK216, this is a threat by an entity that's being documented. Understand that. I'm going to publish this. I'm going to federal prison. 8UFH004, the Ontario police are stalking, engaging in interstate stalking, engaging in what is demonic activity, terrorism, and doing so with the people of the state. License plate 8LGV820. 8BKA590, I believe. It's 7:23 p.m. $8KTN515. I read these already before. This is Woodside Senior Apartments. They're parked in front of Woodside Senior Apartments. All right, the is already. 88NM305. $8FVX116. 7ERU942. License plate LJU374. Looks like Florida. 8SXE749. BU46192, I believe. That's a paper plate entering inside of Woodside Senior Apartments at 302 West G Street. 7CFT059. $8TED378. I think I read that one already. Well, not today, but I read it before. This is Woodside Senior Apartments property. 4RKW785. 8RKY750. And these are the same minions, and that where directed light is all over the place while you are stalking in the path. License plate, molesting. License plate 8YQW546. $8ERE676. 8YOJ994. $8XTS028. All right, so I want to be clear, that is the ongoing admission by the Ontario Police Department as to stalking. That is the unfounded basis of identity of who I am. And the vehicle that I'm inside of, which I don't need. You're talking about what is directed light, what is the fake sun during the day, what is the ongoing documented conduct of stalking by the Ontario Police Department at that same intersection, by the way, which I've shown through the years, and the stalking conduct by Ontario Police, not just at that, not just only at that venue, but that audible activity that I capture on this podcast, that is admission 5CWA308 upon exercise of unfounded legal jurisdiction. He doesn't have any. 6CYY899. That's an admission. That's the effect of that. And it is all born from the same hostility to documentation. 8RVE701, 8XVX050, 5ZVK422, 8LWP574. That's the state hovering over the street. I'm at the Rite Aid at 322 West G Street, 7ZZF390, 7CRE963, 5TDU249, 7HBV952, 7MUV056. $8LRE909, 7VOJ120, 5UZE517, 7MYK314, 8UFH004, 7AGW601, 8DMH241, 8 8NAZ241 67765B3 7KCJ777. It's currently 7:28 p.m. 7VEV068. All right, 7:31 p.m. License 7WTC333 7DGR015. And I'm still inside of the plaza of the Rite Aid, the Pizza Hut. 8ZKP547 6UYX457 8XZE915. PLA344 94942X2. That's a vehicle that's parked stationary in the parking lot with signage on it. Still affiliated with third party. Omnitrans is crossing path, going northbound on Euclid Avenue right now at 7:32 p.m. at Euclid and G Street, by the way. FYD 929 8DGT 113 7NLY 480 5HBF 662. Molestation by license plate BU 81D70 paper 4WTN, can't see that one, 7ZTS 232. I'm at G Street and Euclid Avenue. 8WUG395 and 8ACJ889. Five RBC 706 7RCD 295. It is 7:33 p.m. and this is P.O.C. That is documentation of what is both criminal summoning, specifically the third party who I referenced, engaging in harassment. But I want to be clear, that is conduct on behalf of the entity. That's the entity's pattern of conduct. 6AAB 7, I can't see that one, 7PXY313. While you are documenting surveillance that they're engaged in with the state, 8WTW067, and you were talking about being molested with directed light, your shadow surrounding light, like Star Trek like environment with regard to impossible light, while they ask questions like, did you look at my license plate? Not did you try to break in my car, which is not a question you're going to ask, actually. If you witness somebody trying to break into your car, then... But this is what I'm stating with regard to what is merely engaging in the pattern of conduct, asking questions that you know the answer to, having no right under the law with regard to what is abuse of summoning law enforcement, both of whom are engaged in criminal conduct together. And you have what is the admission by Ontario Police. I want to be clear. What you hear is an admission of knowledge as to who I am. Those third parties engaging in questioning me while they're monitoring is engagement in relevant positioning, audible activity creation, and doing so while they are monitoring with law enforcement, the Ontario Police Department, who are monitoring already in relevant position. That's why the ongoing light activity and stalking with all of the hallmarks that I have shown: a fake sun, directed light, keeping a fake moon, stalking by helicopter, stalking by the fire department, by all manner of the state. And you are engaging in that POC, but also listening to the audible activity that this state actor creates. While he is, I read that license plate more than once, he's driving around in circles, pacing around, he's monitoring, and he's engaging in what is then molesting me with light. He's monitoring. So this is a molestation. And asking, is that your Mercedes? And what Mercedes? And you're talking about what is a specific identity of who I am. You can't even really see my face. I'm wearing a hat and a hood, and I'm walking around holding my phone, which I could be engaged in a conversation. Like I said, I don't have to explain all of that. Nothing that I'm doing is unlawful. And not only that, you're talking about what is documenting the government that's engaged in unlawful conduct. And by virtue of that audible activity, which you heard on my podcast, it is a very specific identification. And not only that,
the Mercedes has nothing to do with what is the grounds for criminal summoning by that third party who was monitoring me. It's totally separate. All right, totally separate and apart. And you're talking about also what is then just verbalizing a threat when I'm asking him, what are you asking me about a Mercedes for? I'm not standing in front of a Mercedes. I'm nowhere near a Mercedes. As far as he's concerned, I'm no way affiliated with any Mercedes, all right, as far as he is concerned. But I'm talking about what is a P.O.C. This is knowledge of exactly who I am. He is stalking with the state, engaging in the criminal act of obstruction of justice via criminal summoning while they are hostile to the fact that I'm documenting their criminal conduct, which is known while they're doing it. It's not concealed anymore. And so you are threatened by that and engaging in what is the act of essentially threatening to engage in kidnapping, engaging in what is harassment while doing so. Because you don't have any, understand under the law, under the constitutional standard for what is detaining someone, for what is me even having to ask that question, which I don't, but I'm documenting, and that's why I encounter that. That's why I'm tolerating that, because I'm documenting it. That's the Ontario Police. That's a demon, first of all. That's a demon-possessed agency acting as a group, surveilling, doing so with the people of the state. And by that audible activity, admitting to specific knowledge of who I am and even the vehicle that I'm affiliated with, which, let me be clear, there is no, under the facts, which you listen to, there are no grounds for that specific identification. It doesn't. And not only that, you're talking about driving around. You're driving around searching for me upon what is criminal summoning by somebody saying, I think somebody looked at my license plate. That's why you're driving around, and then waging a threat about towing the vehicle because some third party is alleging that you looked at their license plate. All right, I just want to be clear, these are totally disconnected and unfounded bases, and the government doesn't even actually have any basis when you're talking about what is criminal conduct that they are seeking to conceal, and it is obstruction of justice. So I want to be clear with regard to what I publish right now and the criminal system, the threat that the people and the state actors together are waging. All right, and Tracy Banks is monitoring to all that. She's not ignorant. You're talking about what is one who is fully engaged in that P.O.C. as well, and in a position to give it place, right? She's fully engaged in the P.O.C. with them. She's not ignorant. You're talking about what is dealing with a psychopath and acting as though she's ignorant about anything and everything that's going on. She's engaged in the P.O.C. along with them. So I want to make sure I document that. But nonetheless, the center of focus is what you heard the Ontario Police Department say, what they are doing, which was circling up and down the block, slowing down by me. This is a demon who was stalking, but also in his alternate universe, looking for a basis to question me. Which, by doing so, you're admitting, by virtue of that, you're admitting to knowledge of me. You don't have any legal basis to do so. You made a specific identification that I don't have to verify because you don't even have any legal basis. And then you're just talking about vocalizing a threat. Why, if I'm not for certain affiliated with some vehicle which I know is not in violation of any law, but I don't owe him an explanation for that. But you're talking about what I'm dealing with him and what he's doing with regard to the P.O.C. And then you're telling me somebody who is I'm basically a stranger with whatever it is he's talking about. So you're telling me about what you're going to do about some vehicle because you think I'm going to care about that because you already know that it concerns me. Is that why you're stating that and asking me about that specific vehicle as well? All right, so understand that. All right, that's all that is intertwined with that. This is an entity that I'm confronting, that I'm documenting. I want to document what is surveillance at 7-Eleven as well. Demons sitting in the parking lot, facing the wall with lights, that's touching surfaces with light, stalking with light. All right, it is currently 7:39 p.m. and this is P.O.C. This is license plate 7M60853, CA39C81, that's paper, 6ZZV805. 7R XM767, BK67196, paper, 5TRU229, 8VFH925, 2WRR238, 5NMZ898, and 5RBC706. And in every way you are 8VZE933. In every way you are dealing with what are psychopaths. That's a psychopath. All right, trying to find, that's exactly what the Ontario Police, this is a demon, first of all, in the position of law enforcement, engaging in stalking, doing so with the people of the state, and then also engaging in what is trying to and failing at, because you don't have it, because they're bound by the law. While they're engaging in criminal conduct, understand the system that's underway. These are criminals that are with law enforcement. So you're talking about what is trying to use what is their job to appear as though they are engaging in the legal administration of it, which they're not. And he doesn't even have that. By virtue of approaching me, he's circling around the block. He's I'm telling you the POC, that's what he's doing, he's monitoring. And then he finally just approaches me. And everything that he is saying is the admission as to the POC, okay? And specific identity, even the vehicle that I'm in, which has nothing to do with looking at somebody's license plate at all. At all, nothing. All right, and let alone you're out roaming the streets, circling around me, asking me about a vehicle that has nothing to do with, why are you doing that? Why are you using all that, all those resources for somebody talking about they looked at your license plate? So what? So what? I'll tell you what. You're talking about what is fear for being documented. That's why. Okay? That third party you're talking about with federal prison, that's POC. It is currently 7:41 p.m. That's the criminal conduct by an entity. Okay? That's what Sarah Bartlett engaging in. Understand that. This is what Sean Thrasher engages in. This is what Starbucks engages in. All right? This is also the pattern of conduct by the people of the state. That's the bigger picture. It is currently 7:42 p.m. and now I'm back at the vehicle. And this is POC.